Wednesday, May 30th, 2018, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So looking at the markets this morning, Italy, of course, is still in the news. I made a last couple of videos about Italy and yesterday morning as well. I was covering the BTP Bund spread, the Italian 10-year yield. At the time, it was 280, around 280. Just after I finished my video, it started going up and went all the way to 344. So it's very volatile. I'd like to talk also about an article I saw in Il Sole 24 Ore, or Il Sole 24 Ore, which is like financial newspaper in Italy, and how it applies to, how can I say, the fiat money system we have, and how it creates an anchorless system where it allows government to basically spend beyond its means, and this is what we get. And it allows the financialization of the economy, and it allows the financial markets to bring the whole world to its knees, and it's something that shouldn't happen. Money markets should be a utility to help people live better, more freely, and with more prosperity. But this is not what we're getting now. So I will look into that as well. I'll go through the prices first now. So it's just past 8 a.m. London. Billy is back. I had to go wake him up. Yeah, he's probably going to go back to sleep. He's getting old. He's going to be 10 in July, so I can't really force him all the time to come here, you know, if he's upstairs. But okay, so the markets have stabilized a little bit this morning. So gold is just trading the last few days between below 1300, above 1300. It's holding relatively firm, I think. Right now it's 1297.50. The range has been 1296.50 to 1303.20. Silver 1635, unchanged. The range has been 1632 to 1644. And the Dow, of course, finished about 400 down yesterday. Right now we're up 120, up 0.5%. S&P is up 12. NASDAQ as well. NASDAQ 100 futures is up 0.5% as well. So everything coming back. Does this mean the Italian crisis is over? No. I think we're going to get more volatility. Does this mean that the Italian crisis will be the beginning of the collapse? It could be. I don't want to say, oh, this is it. It's all going to end, because we had a collapse in 08 and they basically patched everything up. It's not out of the realms of possibility that they'll try it again. But if the central bankers and governments do it again, I think they're in for big trouble, not from the markets, but from the public. You know, people are going to get angrier and angrier. People are starting to realize what's going on. And so hopefully it will be the implosion of the whole fiat money system. And Italy is just the tip of the iceberg. I think the big story would be the Federal Reserve note, the US dollar, the whole fiat money system. Currencies have been very interesting. When Italy, when things in Italy get bad, you know, the spread goes higher, the stock market there drops, there's more fear. We see the euro and the pound drop. The euro usually drops more. But what I noticed yesterday, the currency that was dropping the most against another fiat currency, guess what that currency was? It was the US dollar. The US dollar had a horrible day yesterday against the yen. And I'll even show you a chart here of the dollar yen. So you can see, you know, how much it dropped yesterday and how much it has dropped since the 21st of May. So this is the dollar. So it's not just the euro that's dropping. I know the euro is dropping against the dollar. And what does that mean? The fact that the yen's strengthening. Well, I've spoken a lot in the past from my videos, and you can search in my YouTube channel, yen carry trade. And what that means is basically investors, speculators in the markets for years have been using the yen as a carry currency. That means they borrow in yen because the policy of the Japanese authorities, monetary and governmental authorities, has been to keep the yen weak, keep interest rates at zero or negative, because Japan has been a basket case since the early 90s, because they try to save the system instead of letting it implode. And what that means is that people borrow in yen. So to borrow, you need to sell the yen to borrow it. And the thing is, it's worked really well because you borrow currency, it stays weak, you pay no interest, and you take the proceeds in dollars or euros or pounds, and you invest in higher yielding assets. So that's the carry trade. So when we see the yen strengthening like this in a time of crisis, it means that people are scared, they're covering their yen shorts, and they're selling their assets in other currencies. So that's what it means. So need to keep an eye on that. So one thing I wanted to tell people about the dollar yen, that's very important. What else? So now let's go and see what the bond markets in Europe are doing. It's 807. So in continental Europe is just gone after 9. Interesting because in my time in the city of London, I worked many years with Italy. When I started out as a futures broker, for the next 10 years, I was like a futures and options broker. And my core clients were in Italy, fund managers in Italy, brokers in Italy, banks in Italy. And I traveled a lot to Milan, especially, to visit clients many times. I traveled to Rome a few times and some other cities in Italy. And I have to say, I really enjoyed working with the Italians. They were very nice. I do remember that the fund managers in Italy, like in Milan, most of them were women. You know, people say, and this is back in the 90s, early 2000s. Most people say, oh, the Italians, they're not, people think otherwise, but actually it's quite interesting. And yeah, I used to have a really interesting, good time. The Italians are very honest and polite. And it's a shame that this is happening. And I think a lot of the people working in this industry, in finance, it's not really their fault. It's more the system, really. And a lot of them don't even realize. So I just want to say that. So it's interesting that this is happening. I mean, before Italy joined the euro, we used to trade the lira bonds, BTP in liras. And I remember early 90s, mid 90s, the Italian interest rate was more than 10%. And so people are getting concerned now, of course, that the interest rate is above 3% in Italy, the 10-year. But the 10% rate was even short-term rate. The problem is that we've become so dependent on finance. Governments have borrowed so much. Consumers have borrowed so much. Everyone's been encouraged to borrow and drive this fiat money credit system. So what are we doing this morning? As I spoke yesterday, when I spoke, the 10-year yield in Italy was around 280. The German was around 0.3. So the spread was around 250. But that spread blew out to above 300 just about an hour after I spoke, and the 10-year yield went up to 344, and then it went down quite a bit. And this morning we are at 306, which is down 11 basis points from the close yesterday. The German 10-year yield is 32. So you can do the maths. We're about 266, I guess, in the spread, or 276. Sorry. So yeah, the best way to look at the that spread is to go on Bloomberg.com and put and search for generic Italian 10-year. You'll give you the Italian 10-year, and search for a generic German 10-year. You give you the German 10-year, and then you just subtract the German yield from the Italian yield. Or you can put I'll put a link to the spread itself from an Italian publication if you want to look at it. So things have calmed down, but don't forget this yield, 10-year yield on Monday, early on Monday, it was below 240, around there. Things seem to have calmed down, but yeah, we need to keep an eye on that. Very important. What about cryptocurrencies? I haven't really been looking too much at cryptocurrencies. Yeah, they've been kind of in a funk right now. I said in December, January that a lot of people were saying sometimes when the market was rebounding, well, this is it, this is the bottom. And I said, markets always frustrate people. They always take longer to correct. Look at gold and silver, how long it's taken it from 2011. We have made a bottom in gold and silver, but we're still way below the high. Am I saying Bitcoin and all the cryptocurrencies are going to be consolidating for the next 4 years like gold did? No, but I think people just need to be more patient. It just seems like, there's big resistance. At the time, it was 10,000 in Bitcoin, and it's probably coming down a bit. So we need to, there's been kind of a double top the last few months. I won't go into the charts, but yeah, it's frustrating. I think people, and the other thing as well, there's so many tokens or other altcoins out there that are moving a lot. So it's not just Bitcoin, but of course Bitcoin moving higher will help. So that's the cryptocurrencies. And then this story in the Italian paper, Il Sole 24 Ore, the 24-hour sun, or that's what it means. It's like the FT of Italy, kind of. And I brought it up this morning, and the story says, spread. You see, this Italian, all they talk about is the spread, which is the difference between 10-year money for the Italian government versus 10-year money for the German government. So it says, ecco come è nata la valanga finanziaria che ha travolto l'Italia. So basically it means this is the financial avalanche. The financial markets have become so big that it's it could destroy everything. It says, un domino, a domination that demonstrates how the financial markets are so much bigger than the real economy, and they can be so destructive and uncontrollable. And they couldn't have said it better. I mean, and you have to go back to World War One. Why World War One? Well, a lot of European countries went off the gold standard to finance that war. So a system that had worked really well of sound money was destroyed, and it's never really been recaptured ever since World War One in Italy. And then you have to go to 1971, when the whole world went off the gold standard. I know Europe went off the gold standard domestically, for domestic transactions. But when Nixon defaulted in 1971, and by default I mean the U.S. under Bretton Woods rules were supposed to pay 1 ounce of Troy gold for $35, Federal Reserve notes. And the U.S. said, no, we're not going to do it. President Nixon said it was temporary. How temporary has it been? 47 years. So those two anchors, 1914, 1917, that just took the whole world into another realm, into the realm of the statist, welfare, warfare state. Is it any wonder that, governments have grown so big? Why have they grown so big? Well, to finance warfare, welfare, and now they're going bust. Now they control, the markets, not the governments per se, but all the financial instruments behind it, all the government debt. And that's why we've come to this point where the markets, instead of being something that is a utility or money, a utility to human beings, and like it's become like a chain around our necks and our ankles. It's enslaved everyone, and it's made everyone, and that's what it does. And that's why you need to have something outside the system, and that's why I recommend precious metals. I know the central banks control the precious metals, but only because precious metals are the anti-central bank. They hijacked it. It's almost as if instead of having gold and silver in the past as money, you had Bitcoin, for example. Let's just say that it was. For 5,000 years we'd had Bitcoin. And then central bankers hijacked and they took all the supply of Bitcoin for them. And they issued all these promissory notes on the back of Bitcoin, and everyone knew this can't be true. We'd only have that much Bitcoin. That's what they've done to gold and silver, and that's why the system is as it is. They can keep it, they will most definitely probably try to save it for as long as possible because they want control, and that's what we're gonna see soon, I think, if they succeed or not. Hopefully they won't. So I saw that I got a lot of new subscribers yesterday. So I'd like to thank everyone who subscribed. I'd like to thank everyone who supports the channel. It's really flattering for me. And so if you enjoyed this video as well, please like, share it, subscribe if you haven't yet to the channel. And you can also follow me on DTube, Steemit, and on Twitter. And I might do a live stream today. Well, I think I will do a live stream today later on. Not sure the time yet. Maybe after the markets close in the US, so we can talk about what's going on. And you can ask me all the questions you want about Italy, about the US, the dollar, everything, the markets, the economy, and what I think is going to be happening. So take care, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.